In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to upgrade some of your existing candles into these really nice crackling wick candles. I'll add a list in the description as to where I got all my materials, and keep watching if you want to see how I made them. So I'm going to start by getting a pot and pan that is deep enough to fill with water and keep my candles completely submerged in it. You want to make sure that the depth of your pot goes just slightly above where the ridge of your wax candle actually ends. So that way you're not just melting kind of the bottom half. It's okay if it's a little bit below, but you want to keep it just as high as possible. Then you're going to go ahead and fill it with some water and turn your stove on to a medium-low heat. Depending on how hot your stove gets, my gas range tends to heat up the water very quickly. So you don't want it to be boiling because, again, you may have any glass containers in there, some glass jars. So just keeping it just like at a simmer there is kind of ideal, and just long enough until all the wax melts. Now you want to make sure that you have either a range vent going on or have some windows open, especially if you're doing more than one candle of different scents, just to kind of make it a little bit safer for yourself. And of course, be careful whenever you're taking anything out, if it's because it will be hot coming out from hot water. Here I got a couple of bowls just from the dollar store, so just going to remove any stickers and labels from there, making sure that it's all clean and ready to have my candles put in them. So while the wax is melting, I'm getting my wicks ready. I have ordered these from Amazon. They're just some wood veneer wicks which will crackle when you light them. So I take two of them together because they are fairly thin, and I find that just kind of works better with all the candles that I've used. So I put the two together, and then I kind of just gauge as to how deep the candle is going to be. So I've got the bowls that I'm going to be transferring these candles into. So I just hold the wicks on the inside and just kind of see where I would need to trim them. So usually I can cut it directly in half, and then I'll have two wicks perfectly for the bowls. Now you can choose to either get a wick adhesive to actually stick onto the bowl, or you can use a hot glue. I like to just dip it in some of the melted wax just to place it where I want it in the bowl, and then fill the wax kind of in layers to keep it in place. So I'll fill maybe an inch worth of wax at the bottom, kind of hold the wicks in place, or using some popsicle sticks to prop them up, but leaving them in there while that first layer cools. That way I kind of don't have to deal with a sticky adhesive whenever the candles are actually done. Now I take some of my mica pigment, which I use for tinting some of my resin. So once the candle wax has melted, I will take a bit of that mica pigment and add it into the container and give it a good stir. And then I just continue the process, just making sure to be very careful, either using a towel when removing the completed melted candles from the pots. The wicks, you can toss them or either keep them if you have any, like let's say if you're using a smaller bowl and all of the wax doesn't fit, you can create smaller like tea light candles with them and keep the wicks. Or what I had done is just pour the leftover wax into an empty wax melt container that I have. So that way when they cool, I can actually just pop them into a wax melt little dish instead of lighting a candle. And honestly, it's as simple as that. That is completely done. You'll just let them cool enough to set. Now you do want to be careful because some waxes are different, and it's either going to cause the wicks to burn a lot brighter, or might just burn the wax, whereas some may burn very, very mildly. And you'll see that I've got two examples in here of ones that I've made. So I eventually end up just changing the wicks back to the original ones if it's not compatible with the crackling wicks. So just making sure, because those will start to smoke and and just have like a giant flame, which you don't really want. And these make wonderful housewarming gifts. You can honestly use any sort of vessel for it. And that's how you upgrade some of your candles. Honestly, super easy. Just takes some time to get everything melted and transferred over. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.